This story, and there's still some loose holes because we haven't really gotten a full analysis of what's been reported here. But basically what happened is on December 23rd in the Ukraine, hundreds of thousands of customers of a regional power authority lost power. When they did some analysis of it, they realized, okay, there was some malware on these machines and they were intentionally disrupted and sabotaged. So the interesting thing, then some people started to, some of the researchers like ESET and ISET partners were doing some analysis and they're trying to piece together some loose ends. So this is still a little speculative. However, they do have strong suspicion that the black energy malware was in play here. We've talked about black energy on the program before. It's a kind of a sourced from Russia piece of malware, mostly for backdoor crimeware or other types of espionage type of activities. They also noticed that it was recently updated because they're monitoring people using the black energy. So the toolkit itself had been updated with a kill disk function, which basically causes deletion of certain parts of the hard drive so that it won't be able to boot anymore. And then it also has some functions for sabotage specifically of industrial control systems, which is interesting. So you're kind of piecing it all together. Not to say that that is a nail in the coffin as to who is behind it, but it is pointing in that direction.
Suggestive,
right. There's also a new backdoor SSH backdoor that has been recently added to Black Energy. So the other interesting thing is Black Energy is tied to the Sandworm gang, who we've talked about on the show before with some other cases. I can't remember what the other case was that we had maybe last year or in 2014. But I think they've targeted like NATO, some other organizations. And they have strong ties to Russia.
And this was a pretty sophisticated group, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
There are a lot of groups that make lofty claims, and then there are others that actually do it.
Right. The other interesting thing is that according to ESET, that they have evidence that the Ukrainian power authorities in this case, where they got this black energy malware from, were infected using booby-trapped macro in Microsoft Word documents, which we've seen a lot of that going on, where you get an Excel or Word document, you open it up and it says, in the document it'll say, enable macros up above with a little arrow pointing up there in order to see the whole content of this document. And people just, okay, and they click on it and then boom, it runs the macro virus that dumps something down on the machine. We've been seeing a lot of other malware families using this technique as well. So not a surprising technique, however, maybe surprising that whoever is opening these documents got spearphished and is on the same machine that manages the power systems. So that's a little, you would think you'd want to separate that a little bit.
Yeah, it's possible, but they could have also pivoted. But I agree with you.
True,
you
that's true. They could have pivoted
sort of
once they're inside.
Critical stuff on a separate network segment.
Right.
Completely.
That's a good aspect. I have a good point, though. It could be that they pivoted once they were in. So anyway, an interesting turn of events. I missed the predictions episode for last year. My prediction, had I been able to make it, was that the interest in industrial control systems and SCADA is going to kind of escalate, and it was kind of based on the whole destabilization of the world.